Today we're going to be going over my full review on the brand new Rasasi Hawas Malibu. Finally got my hands on this one. I just recently covered KOBRA in a separate video. You can go check that one out here on the channel. I got a bottle of this. Currently only available on TikTok Shop. That's where I got KOBRA. That's where I got this one as well. I will drop a link down below. Not everybody has or wants to purchase through TikTok and TikTok Shop. So when this does become available on the main discounters, of course, I'll let you guys know as well. But just know that's where I got mine, and that's where you could get a bottle of yours if you want as well. So like I mentioned, I'm going to be going through this one today, just doing my full review, not a first impressions. I've been wearing this one quite a bit. That's just kind of the direction I wanted to go with these. I've had some time to wear them when the weather's been nice, and that way I can give you guys all of the details of performance and really dive in deep, and that's what we're gonna do. And there was part of me that was thinking that I was going to be a little bit disappointed with this one. So it's always best practice to take everything you hear with a grain of salt. That's kind of what I've learned, because when you look at this one online, you see some comparisons that might not make a whole lot of sense. So we're going to cover all of that stuff today. So let's start off with how this scent smells. Now, when you first spray it on, first things first, you get no resemblance of Hawas or anything. Same thing with KOBRA. These flankers are not really reworking much of that existing Hawas DNA. Of course, they're kind of going off on a different direction, which is not uncommon. Initial spray, it kind of smells like a blue fragrance amberwood opening. And then as it starts to settle in, you start picking up on some sweeter, more kind of creamy notes, a bit of a coconut, pineapple, a tonka bean mixture. You're probably going to start thinking, that's reminding me of something, or it sounds like something, and it does. It kind of puts this one into that Jean Paul Gaultier Les Beau, Les Parfum category here, but with a pretty big twist. You know, for example, when you go look at something like Hawas Tropical, that one smells like Paradise Garden, pretty much to a T. From absolute start to finish, it is pretty much about as close as you can get, just about a one-to-one clone. This one here in particular is not what I would consider to be a one-to-one clone of anything. It's kind of more of a variation, you know, taking a pre-existing and popular smell and reworking it, which I love and I'm actually happy about. So where Les Beau, Les Parfum, it opens up with that pineapple, the coconut, the tonka, just sweet, kind of gourmand, summery. This has some of that, but it doesn't open with it. Again, it opens up with this blue fragrance type of amberwood smell, this modern day smell. And then as it starts to settle down, you start picking up on some of those warmer, softer, kind of tropical notes. There is still kind of a musky blue fragrance undertone going on as well, which again kind of separates this from Les Beau, Les Parfum. One thing I was seeing people say was that it smelled, you know, a lot like tropical, you know, very, very close, almost redundant. And that's kind of what I was thinking, like, I don't know if this is going to be all that good. Might not make a lot of sense. I can tell you this smells pretty much nothing like Hawas Tropical because it smells pretty much nothing like Paradise Garden. Now again, it's tying back to Les Beau, Les Parfum, but those two are still pretty different. So just to give you a really quick synopsis here, this is almost like, you know, Jean Paul Gaultier Les Beau, Les Parfum with a blue fragrance twist. That's kind of how I would describe it if you wanted just a couple quick notes and then now you've made up your mind. That's kind of what this one is, at least to me. We'll go ahead and take a look at the full note breakdown here. We have pineapple, orange, and grapefruit up top. We have iris, amber, and lavender in the mid. Tonka bean, musk, patchouli, cashmere, and in the dry down. So you're noticing that maybe some things are missing. I've been talking about a bit of a coconut, you know, I've been talking about, you know, these sweeter type of tropical notes. We get the pineapple, we get that tonka bean, which ties back to the Jean Paul Gaultier. They're not listing off coconut here. Now, whether it's just that my mind is picking up on it because it is reminding me a little bit of Les Beau, Les Parfum, maybe that's what it is, but I still do feel like I get just a little bit of it. Not overly prominent, but there. One thing that I noticed a lot when I was testing it out that surprised me was the far dry down. I picked up on quite a bit of iris. Now, I do believe that they might list off iris or orris root in Les Beau, Les Parfum. Could be wrong on that one, not 100% sure. I would have to check. But I know when it comes to actually smelling that one, I've never gotten a very prominent iris note out of it. And this one, on the other hand, I do. Like, it's notable. You know, you really do pick up on it, which I thought was kind of cool, and it was unexpected. And I know they listed off here in this one, but just because they put something in the note breakdown doesn't always mean you're actually going to be able to smell it that much. I also find this one to be a little bit more soft, a little bit more musky, a little bit more smooth, I would say. Again, Beau Parfum, you know, it's that summer gourmand leaning scent, but it is kind of punchy and can be a little bit stringent at times, I think, because of just all of the sweet notes fighting for the surface, all of the pineapple, the tonka bean, the vanilla, the coconut. Sometimes it can feel a little bit busy, you know, there's just a lot going on, and especially when you start to apply some heat to it, it can get a little bit, you know, hectic, so to speak. At least that's how that one's always come across to me. This one, not so much. It feels like a smoother composition to me. You know, when I smell this one, it's a little bit more settled down, a little bit more calm. That's kind of how I look at it. They list off amber in the note breakdown here, more specifically in the mid notes. Again, to me, it's more of an amber wood, kind of ambroxan style, you know, the type of blue note that they're using in the YSL Y series, and of course a few other popular ones as well. It's that particular type of amber wood smell that I'm getting out of this one. And it makes sense when you think about it. Blue fragrances, still some of the most popular fragrances on the market across so many different brands. And right now, these Beau fragrances are really getting pretty popular right now as well. And if you kind of take a few characteristics from each side of the fence and combine them, you have something that's pretty genius here. And so that's just how I look at it. It's a Beau Parfum twist, not a one-to-one clone. So if you're looking for something that is exact or as close to exact as you can get, this will not be it. If that's the case, this would let you down. And I think that's maybe where some people fall. They're looking for something that this just isn't that, you know. But in the case of myself here and what I have, I don't really need a one-to-one clone. You know, I have Beau Parfum. So many of you guys do as well. And so we have something that takes that DNA and just does something a bit different with it, which I'm okay with. The bottle looks great as well. I don't know, the camera might not really pick up on it. And there's also quite a bit of fingerprints as well, but it looks cool. Might be one of my favorite Hawas bottles yet. Yeah, the tropical one looks pretty cool, that green, but I love this gradient. It just looks cool. It looks way better in person, I have to admit. It looks like a pretty classy scent because you also have the gold lettering there for Hawas Malibu and the logo and everything. It's just, I don't know, very premium looking presentation. And I think that blue, you know, it's kind of hinting towards Beau Parfum, but hinting towards that blue fragrance DNA as well. And I guess this is another giveaway when you look at the bottles. Well, the gradient is pretty similar. Gold accenting with kind of a deep blue / black up top, and then, you know, a bit of a lighter blue shade down below. And when you look at it, camera's not helping, but in person, they do look pretty close. Let's talk about performance. This is the important part. This is an eau de parfum concentration, which is great. The longevity on my skin has been very good. And at this point, I'm not really expecting anything else. I just kind of, when I see these Hawas releases, so far, pretty much all of them have been above average in terms of performance, and this one is no exception either. This has been a 9-10 hour performing scent. Sometimes you might get a little bit longer than that, depending on the number of sprays, where you're spraying, temperature conditions, and of course, a wide variety of things that will affect that. But that's kind of where I've been at on this. Weather here has been pretty mild, but it is starting to warm back up. That will affect things as well. So it depends on when you're wearing this one. But yeah, 9-10 hours about is where it's been. Projections on the softer side. I will say that kind of surprised me. I was expecting more. And KOBRA, which I just recently covered, projects way more than this. That one is really, really strong in terms of projection. This is more of a softer personal scent. That's just how it's been on me, which I wasn't really expecting, but that's just, that's how it's been performing. So I would say, at least from my experience, you might want to hit yourself with a few extra sprays to get some more of that projection if you're after that. If not, if you want more of a personal scent, this would be great. And in terms of when you should wear this one, times of the year, situations, you know, it's going to be I think probably more of your in-between, you know. A lot of people hate Les Beau Les Parfum for summer, even though it's a summery smelling scent with the tropical notes and stuff. But, you know, could be too sweet for some. Kind of a similar thing here. This one's a little bit more reserved, a little bit more smooth. I think a lot of people could pull this one off spring, mild summer days, and throughout most of fall. Now, of course, you could wear it into wintertime as well. There are better options. And in terms of situations, pretty much strictly casual. I would not wear this one in any sort of formal situation. Again, I just think there are better options out there. So that's my thoughts on Hawas Malibu. I like this one a lot more than I thought I would, because I was expecting, just by looking at some of the other reviews, you know, which I shouldn't look at those before, I guess, because it gets me bummed out sometimes, but I was expecting a redundant release that wasn't going to be good. Not the case at all. It doesn't smell like Hawas Tropical. Doesn't smell like any other Hawas. Les Beau Les Parfum with a blue twist and more iris in the dry down. That is Malibu, and I really like it. Let me know your thoughts on this one if you've tried it. If you haven't, are you going to? And are you excited to try the other new Hawas releases as well? Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.